See, in 2012, this is an interesting class to me. An interesting class. With 2012, you got Future, Kid Ink, Danny Brown, French Montana, Macklemore, Don Tripp, Machine Gun Kelly, Hobson, Iggy Azalea, and Roscoe Dash.
All right. This was the class where everybody knew hip hop was changing. And everybody had to come to terms with that. I feel like
I got a counter for you, but I'm gonna wait till.
Okay. From this class though, I've listened to every name.
I listen to virtually everybody on here.
Everybody on this class. Iggy Azalea was a hype that
she was hyped at the time for sure.
Bruh.
I mean, we see it happen. You know, it ain't last long, as you can see.
It's just man, that push of her for a woman artist, and like that's a whole different conversation. But Roscoe Dash, we know that he had a stamp on a scene of music where it was a good sound.
Roscoe Dash was definitely a pivotal artist in like party music. Like you talk about time, like I can only imagine college campuses at the time, you know. But Roscoe had songs. They was party songs, bro. And you need those. You need those, especially. I can just imagine like during that time, like that's when for our generation we really like. I feel like we started hearing more and seeing more like of those like parties. Those songs specifically made parties, cookouts, whatever. You know, he just had, and that was the sound that he had. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, you know, somebody to recognize and understand his importance. Kid Ink is you know, he had his time. I guess I just
and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Kid Ink had I wouldn't even say an opportunity. See, Tory Lanez took the baton and did what the lane.
He took the lane from a lot of niggas.
Yeah, and he did what the fuck he was supposed to do. Kid Ink was one of them. It was like, what are you trying to do with your career, ass nigga? Like that's kind of how I looked at him, because I had momentum behind him for a minute. Like he had a little song that was out, not that radio shit, but it was a nice little roll your windows down, cruise to it type shit. So I'm like, all right, it's a little cruising ass rapping nigga. Like
he did have a couple big radio hits though. Like that's why I said he had his time. But I just, like you said, I don't think he ever really
chosen.
I would never say artists didn't care. I would never say that, because I know it's probably a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. But whatever it was, he just didn't find, like you said, he didn't find the lane. I don't think he really tried to make a decision, it seems, on where he wanted his career to go.
Thanks.
So I just feel like he kind of got like, he had his like year or two, and I just say phased out in the sense of he didn't really find his lane. And after a while, you just get lost if you don't, you know, find a lane to be in that gets you a following. Danny Brown. Danny Brown is like you just gotta be a certain type of person like Danny Brown. I feel like he's definitely not a mainstream artist, but he can always rap to me.
That's the thing. Like that nigga got bars. Like
like Danny Brown got bars,
bro.
You know what I'm saying? He's just a little weird. That's all. But bars nonetheless. You know. See, French. Definitely.
I was a French fan for a minute.
Definitely got to put respect on French name. I think just because French is one of those people that always like he's like consistently relevant enough. Like you may not necessarily anticipate French music. You may not necessarily put him in any conversations of any, you know, great lyricist, great artist, or what have you. But you can't deny that at least every year or so, every couple of years, he probably gonna have one of the biggest songs of the year. Probably.
Yeah, probably back in like fucking 2015. Like that probably was. I feel like that was the fall off of.
Well, maybe because I'm trying to think what year was Unforgettable? I think that was 16 to 17, wasn't it?
16, 17, yeah.
16, 17 around that time. That was like the last like big song for French. And yeah, maybe after that, I don't think he really had anything that big. Oh wait, when was No Stylist?
I believe. Let me see.
But I think that was after Unforgettable, but it may not have been. I don't know.
But was No Stylist, was it bigger than Unforgettable though?
Didn't No Stylist have Drake on it? If it did, I'm going to assume that it potentially might have been bigger than Unforgettable.
Yeah, it did, but
also French and Drake don't miss, so there's that. There's that. But you know, definitely got respect French. Macklemore is like Macklemore is like I don't want to knock Macklemore completely. I just never thought that much of him.
I think niggas was disrespected by the fact of what happened at the Grammys, why niggas tossed Macklemore to the side. Let's be truthful.
It probably is why a lot of people toss him to the side.
The Grammys really fucked up with that one because it's like, all right, we gonna put this motherfucker on this pedestal and we know this motherfucker really deserves a Grammy. And then at that time, I say this, cancel culture quietly canceled that nigga Macklemore, bro.
Is there a such thing as, well, I was gonna say like, cause did we as the black community cancel him? I don't know if we really ever accepted him, even though Thrift Shop was big as hell and was a popular ass song. But yeah, Thrift Shop Can't Hold It. He had a couple big ass records. He had a couple big ass records. But I do agree. I think that Grammy, him winning that Grammy over Kendrick for the hip hop community at least, because I feel like that was the lane he was kind of leaning into. So that just kind of pushed him back out. But I mean, I definitely respect him. Like, you can't knock that he was, especially in that like 2012, 2013 kind of like 2-year frame, huge. Don Tripp, name recognition. I know Don Tripp. I'm not a personal like huge fan, but I put respect. I put respect on knowing that he was relevant. You know, he was around. You know, so
hey, this man. So for those who don't know who Don Tripp is, he's I wouldn't even want to call him a underground rapper. Those that's in the industry, they know him. He just really rap about reality, man. Like, and it's very, how should I say? I don't want to say catchy because it's not, niggas not singing. Like, he's really barring up a track, just talking about everyday life shit. And he come with it, bro, with the bars. Like, the bars be very vivid and shit like that. But Don Tripp, he definitely like that. And if you don't know of him, please get into him. Hey, it's so much that I fuck around to just drop a link to this nigga after this, but Don Tripp is like that.
That's real. You got Machine Gun Kelly, Hobson. I think they round out.
I was a big MGK fan.
I mean, I always felt like MGK could spit. I don't feel like he made great projects necessarily, but he could always spit to me when he wanted to. And then Hobson was crazy lyrical. Like, I don't think a lot of people outside of like underground hip hop fans and people who would have been like really looking for Hobson or liked like that kind of music and that kind of rap. I don't think he gained a lot of mainstream fans, but Hobson was still to this day probably. I know he don't release music like that, but definitely somebody I respected as a lyricist before. Those Mind of Hobsons were those Ill Minds of Hobsons were all
Ill Minds used to go fucking crazy, bro.
Crazy, you know what I'm saying? So definitely respect there. But yeah, I think but what's interesting about this class is they just didn't have, especially after the last two, looking back now, I would say they just didn't have the star power. I guess it's kind of hard to say because in that time, they probably were, more relevant. But if you look back at it and look at how a lot of their careers phased out, you only got, to me, I'm only taking from that class Future and French.
From this class, I have to take Future. I'm gonna have to take Don Trip, and I'm gonna have to take.
Is Don Trip still releasing music though?
Don Trip is definitely still releasing music.
Freshman class for 2013. So that's what, Schoolboy, Trinidad James.
To me, this was probably the rawest.
Ooh, well, I can see that.
When I say raw, I mean as far as like that was just raw talent. There wasn't no persona you was trying to give these niggas to try to fit. It was like all of them came with their own style, flair, everything. Like nigga, like
what? Schoolboy, Trinidad, Joey Badass, Absol, Logic, Action Bronson, Kirk O'Banks, Travis, Dizzy Wright, Angel Hayes, and Chief Keef. A lot of people don't realize Chief Keef was in this freshman class because he missed a photo shoot. But
some iconic shit, man,
bruh.
And they just stamped the face on that, bro. They just put a fucking it was a blank, bro. That's some funny shit, bro.
That's funny as hell.
That's iconic shit.
This class is packed. Like, and they probably had some of the coldest ciphers to me. This entire class. Like, I feel like they probably had one of the coldest ciphers of all the freshman classes. But, for sure.
That motherfucker was a bar. I'm not gonna fake it. Like,
yeah, nah. I mean, I feel like every artist in this class not only had a time, but like they were big in their time. Like when Schoolboy was on his rise, like people definitely, took a liking to it. Trinidad definitely had his run, and people were, albeit all the jokes, people were definitely fucking with him. Joey, still relevant now. I wish Joey made more music, but when he does make music, like he's really good at it.
I can say this about Joey. There, no nigga, but that's a solo tape as far as Joey Badass. Nobody can sit there and say that he's ever made a bad tape. Ever. Like every tape that he's made, if you go back and start from his very first tape to his very last album, every tape you literally see the growth in him as an artist and shit like that. Like when
Waves Before the Money and All American Badass. Like people don't talk about them projects enough. I be letting Before the Money rise sometimes, and I'm like, Joey is back, bro. Like
the money, bro. I never forget how anticipated I was of that hip hop. Like that for me when Joey was dropping, because I'm like, bro, this nigga's so young. Like he's young as fuck. Like,
Joey like our age, bro.
I'm like,
you're younger.
And then the bars that he was spinning out, bro, I'm like, I was in high school. I'm like, are you niggas crazy? Like, why y'all not hit to this nigga Joey Badass? Like, this nigga album dropping before the money drop. It was like, that shit. For me as a team, bro, I'm like,
Joey was doing this thing. Got Absol, one of the coldest lyricists. Niggas ain't gonna talk,
bro.
But Soul, one of the coldest lyricists out here. Hey, when Soul wants to,
so would you say that he's the best lyricist in TDE?
I've been asked this question before, and
because that's a real question when it comes to
from a pure like lyricist standpoint, like Soul probably one of the few niggas that could bar Kendrick up. Cause Soul be knifing niggas like Soul. Cause Soul like that. He like that, and people don't want to give him credit, especially if you talk about in the aspect of like the entire TDE, because you got Dotted and he just is who he is.
A lot of people don't give Soul that. I think it's because he don't have that universal, like he doesn't have a universal sound, so a lot of people not gonna peek over to see like with what he's making, and opposed to like how Kendrick coming, or opposed to how J-Rock coming, or Schoolboy or Isaiah Rashad. Like,
but shoot, J-Rock and Schoolboy damn near just got there to making a sound that's to having more of a mainstream sound, I would say.
I feel like 90059 was like that for J-Rock. Like, to me personally.
Yeah, no, to us personally, I'm saying from a mainstream sound though, like 90059 kind of got it. It has a TDE sound, which has become more global and mainstream, but that was already there damn near with Good Kid, Mad City. It might be because he was the bigger artist and was getting pushed in a certain way. That probably has a lot to do with it.
That's it. But this is what's so crazy about Rock. That nigga was the first one up TDE to get put on though.
Yeah, we're gonna get whenever we do our TDE episode, we're gonna get into that. But Rock is like the beginning. And that's crazy. Like that, I don't know if people know that, but Rock is the beginning, and Rock is the person that got Kendrick to the point where he could catapult, so that's your research. But that's
niggas they spazzed on the Black Panther tape together though. That shit was
Look, Redemption was an amazing album that I don't feel like I talked about enough, but that's just something else. So after Soul, you got Logic. I like old Logic.
The young Jedi Logic, man.
I like old Logic. I don't dislike new Logic. I just feel like old Logic when he was a little bit when I felt he was a little bit hungrier, when I felt like he had a little bit more to prove. I fuck with that Logic a lot.
Would you say that, or would you say the Logic that for you it was just hip hop in a sense, because that's essentially what you fell in love with? So would you say it was that, and he got away from that sound when that nigga went mainstream? Because I feel like he was always hungry. Like even So how did you feel about the debut then? How did you feel about the debut?
The debut was
underwhelming to me. That's how I felt personally. I expected
the debut again.
I don't want to say. I remember the picture.
I can't remember the title of the debut. But I personally thought the debut was cool. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was cool.
Exactly, and that's what.
But
under pressure.
The only reason it was underwhelming was because of how heavy I fucked with Welcome to Forever, Young Sinatra. That was the only reason it was underwhelming for me. But I mean, the Tarantino tapes, like
that's what kind of blew me. It was like you go from the Young Sinatra, then out of all the hype, like around that time, like this is the same time that I'm geek for Joey, and I'm geek for this nigga Logic. So it's like, all right, two young niggas y'all about to drop, and Under Pressure dropped. And I was just like,
Under Pressure. That's what it was.
It hit me in the gut.
It definitely wasn't. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a great. It wasn't a great debut, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was bad. But I think I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying in terms of. I get you what you're saying in terms of like the hype and what we probably wanted to hear based off of his last project. I could definitely see it being underwhelming, and clearly with the Tarantino tapes, he shows you that he can still spit. But Logic also one of them artists that like you can't, since he has the ability to still make good music in other lanes, I don't think you can really knock him for doing that. It's just one of the things you kind of got to live with, because it's like either we gonna get rap from him or we gonna get something else, and it just depends on you got to know what you're getting before you kind of make your judgment. Action Bronson,
Slicer.
He's a slicer. I'm not like a huge personal fan, but I mean I respect him for sure.
That boy Bronson be talking that shit. Boy.
Definitely solid. Kurt Cobain's huge in his run. During his run. So
all of Kurt Cobain so sad, bro. Like it was the Kurt Cobain's hype was everything of what we wanted at that time. Like the sound of music of what we was just getting in 2013 from these artists. You got Trinidad, you had Argo, Trinidad, you know what I'm saying? On another side, you getting Break the Bake, Schoolboy. We ain't even get to the bottom, but from Kirko and Drinking My Cup, it was just like a beautiful time.
It was a beautiful time. Kirko was solid during his run. Travis is Travis. I just feel like the names, the big name,
self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory.
This man right here though.
people, I mean, people don't know Dizzy like that. At least I feel like people don't know Dizzy like that. They don't talk about him. But Dizzy's definitely very solid lyricist, really good artist, makes good music too. I just don't think he has the mainstream following.
And he be on some, if for people that's watching this, if you're trying to box outside of like expand your sound into conscious rappers, like Dizzy's one of those. He, practice peace, love, self-love and all that. And you really don't get that from a lot of hip hop artists. You know what I'm saying? So from him to evolve into a sound of what he's talking about and shit like that, is what hip hop need, bro. And people need to understand that. Like, you watching this and you ain't got hip to Dizzy right, I'm gonna say this shit right now. Go get hip to Dizzy right, bro. Like, everybody need it, bro. I swear.
That's real. That's real as hell. Okay, boom. Then Angel Hayes. No Angel Hayes. Didn't listen to a lot of her music, but no of her. No, she's solid. No, she's solid, but just didn't really follow her like that. So I don't have too much of a opinion. And she, at least to me and seemingly to the general public, she didn't really, kind of remain relevant or remain popular at least. But I definitely, still give respect for, where she was at that time. And then Chief Keef, I feel like, is another self-explanatory. We all know what he did. So there's that. 2014. Freshman class.
2014, man, we got Chance, we got Rich Homie, we got Isaiah Rashad, Ty Dolla $ign, Lil Durk, Gates, Troy Ave, Big Mentor, John Connor, Lil Bibby, Jaron Benton, and August Alsina. How you feel, dog? What's your thoughts on 2014, man? That was a lot of hype for this class when it was.
There was a lot of hype for this class. I think 2014 is relatively star-studded, if I'm being honest. I just feel like, I also feel like while there was so much hype, I feel like this was if there was ever a pivot, and like where music was going, where rap was going, this is the year.
2014 was it?
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like, and to that point you made earlier, I think you said that for 12, but the only reason I would counter it is because 13 is way more reminiscent of 11, so that Meek and Kendrick class than 12 is. So I feel like it was kind of like one of them off years. You went back to it, but 14 really told you like music, rap is about to start sounding completely different. I also really don't like their ciphers from this year. I think they're cool, but I mean, nonetheless, still they star-studded, man. I mean, I feel like I don't want to keep deep diving too much into each artist specifically, but I mean, you got Chance, and at the time, I think Chance was, As a Rap had maybe been out. Well, As a Rap came out in 12 or 13.
13, I believe.
Chance was basically riding that wave.
Chance was established, man. It was just like,
but Chance was big. Chance was definitely becoming big globally. Rich Homie Quan, definitely big during that time.
Rich Homie was just like fucking dope as hell to watch, like him and Thug. Oh
that was actually crazy. And that's a whole conversation for another day, but the reason Quan wasn't able to kind of rise the way Thug did, it's unfortunate because he had the talent, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't remember it being anything like super personal or like nothing like that.
It actually was like it Thug and Rich Homie, like when we get in, if we ever come back to that, like the whole falling out with them, it got personal. Thug talked about it in the interview, but
I do remember that. Both of them did, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you got Isaiah Rashad.
Boy right there, that boy right there.
That's my boy. But definitely at his time, I think he was still writing Sylvia Demo. But he had just did, I think, he just did the Hip Hop Awards the year before too. And I know that's the first time I got introduced to him. So that was well deserved. Ty Dolla $ign, well deserved. Lil Durk, deserved. Gates, still, relatively popular at that time. Troy Ave was very well known. I don't know much of his music, but I definitely know the name for sure. Yeah. So I know he's relevant.
Vic, East Coast motherfucker.
Yeah, East Coast. Vic was nice. Vic was hella nice. John Connor. I remember the name. Don't remember much of his music.
He had bars. I say that about Connor. Connor definitely had bars. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, I don't know much of his music. Bibby, I wasn't a huge Bibby fan, but I also
free crack days. Oh my god, nigga! Like,
hey,
that shit, bro.
I always deferred to other people when it comes to opinions on Bibby because I didn't listen to much of his music. I mean, I still don't. I didn't really start hearing it until college for me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know too much about it.
But it's kind of hard for a lot of people to kind of get into the sound of Bibby because you ain't have drill was so popular, and so you hearing a nigga that's just nigga voice is so deep. But if you actually listening to what he's talking about and then the production, the skits, like his projects, the Free Crack projects was very well put together, like with a theme of what the fuck he was talking about and him just talking about the shit that he was talking about. It's like, bro, you this young, talking about this shit, but it's your life, it's real, and that shit flowed. And it was like Free Crack days 1 and 2. 3 was all right. But Free Crack 1 and 2, it was like, damn, bro. Like, I can personally say I didn't know what to expect out of Chicago after Chief. You know what I'm saying? After fucking just drill blew up. And so Baby was a very interesting sound for me, man. I fucked with them.
For sure. But you had Jaren Benton and then you had August Alsina. So I mean, I don't know much about Jaren Benton, honestly. Sorry to that man. But August definitely well deserved, especially for that time. 14 was about his peak anyway, so it made sense. At that time, I think you probably gotta go with Chance
or Gates. I feel like I say at that time, Chance.
I could see Gates. I could see Gates.
Chance, Gates, and Quan. That would probably be the 3 out of that class. It'd have to be.
Yeah, but August was also that year, if anything. You know, so it's kind of up there.
This class, oh boy.
Yeah, not what for 15?
Yeah.
Ooh. It ain't all bad, but I mean 15 we get.
We got a couple of
15 we got Fetty Wap, Dej Loaf, Rory, Kid, OG Mako, Shy Glizzy, K Camp, Vince Staples, Tink, and Goldlink. It's solid, but underwhelming.
What makes it underwhelming to you?
It's kind of hard because I don't remember what music was like at the time in terms of who. I can't argue to say
2015.
I can't argue to say like who was bigger at the time. Like, I'm trying to think back, but like, you know, I'm not.
I'm of 2015. Who was bigger was definitely Fetty Wap out of this class. Like,
I'm not talking about. I'm not of the artist. I'm saying it's underwhelming because of. Like I'm saying, I can't speak to maybe who was bigger, so it's not like I should say like people missed out or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. But it's underwhelming in the sense of I don't think there's a great representation of rap in this particular class. Like when you look at the artists, you don't really see rap. You know, like Fetty Wap was not rap for real. I mean,
so you would say this was like the singing. This was
I mean, you keep seeing the pivot in music. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Fetty Wap is not a rapper. It's like sing rap.
For me, the person that had bars that I say that was a rapper Honest was Vince Staples, and you had to be a fan. I personally
Well,
believe.
yeah, but when I say great representation because he's the only one on this list who I would speak to. Now, I don't want to ignore K Camp or Gold. Don't want to ignore either. But what I'm saying is from a hip hop standpoint, you don't have a lot of representation, which I don't know if that's speaking to where hip hop was in 2015.
That was showing the evolution of where hip hop was fucking around headed.
So I say it's kind of underwhelming in that sense because I think it was like the first year we really saw like you don't have a lot of.
Yeah, that when 2015 dropped, everybody that was like 20. You went from 2014 to 2015, and it was just like, oh, they got K Camp. You know what I'm saying? They got Dej Loaf because Dej Loaf had the fucking hype and Fetty Wap, but outside of that, it was just like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on over there? Tink now, don't get me wrong. Tink
gotta get Tink respect. But like I said, I'm speaking from the context of like we talking about R&B. It's heavy R&B loaded, but then you also got like OG Mako, Shy Glizzy. I mess with Shy Glizzy, so I don't want to like necessarily. I don't want to say Shy Glizzy should be like written off or nothing like that. But I think for me, it's an underwhelming class because I think it was trendy. I think
this is the one hit wonder class.
Outside of Gold Link, Vince Staples, K Camp, Tink. Outside of them, really, everybody else is kind of like I don't think we really remember them past that year. You know, like I don't know last time Dej Loaf for real, like was making music like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fetty Wap ain't made music in some time. Rory, like I know of Rory, but I don't
Fetty
know.
Wap actually is consistent with dropping music. He's just not gassed. That's like I've went and searched to see what the fuck Fetty Wap be having up, and he still be actually having like movements that I wouldn't even say movements, but he's doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So he's not like no nigga that's just like after 2015 he never got back in. It's just he just never got that push.
I mean, and that's fair. Like I said, like we said, that happened to a lot of artists. But yeah, this class is. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a lot to talk about in this class. I think if anything, this class is really known for kind of showing the pivot and the sound of music and the sound of rap.